أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على فاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك. اللهم كل وليك الحجة من الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا تمتع فيها طويلا. قال الله العظيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأولي الأرحام بعضهم أولى ببعض في كتاب الله. So we want to talk about the inheritance laws in Islam. Of course, when we go to Quran, we can find too many verses about how I can say, not how relative only, how relative can inherit their relatives, and also how some people can inherit it, or inherit some others. Because sometimes you might be able to inherit even if there is no relationship between you and that person. This is called ضمان الجريرة. So I'm not going to explain all of that. And all, it's substantial. But we have rules. And rules explain a lot to us. That relationship is something that Islam recognizes. Islam recognizes relationships. Why? Why? I have the right to inherit my father, and my son has the right to inherit me, and etc. The wife has the right to inherit her husband, and vice versa. Because Islam recognizes those relationships. And it's about responsibilities. There is something called al-aqila in Islam. Have you heard about it? Aqila means relative. Relative from the father side. Okay, what about them? If somebody kills somebody by mistake, he doesn't have to pay the compensation. Diya should be paid, but not by him, rather by his tribe. So they are aqila from aql. When they can somehow, probably the meaning of aql, the meaning of this verse, this is what comes to my mind. They can fasten the wrong ambitious of that person, that he tries to be more careful in his action, okay? Because they are all responsible of each other's. So that would reduce not only the crimes, but also will reduce the mistakes as well. I want to do it, I'm free. No, you're not free. You're my family, my tribe, I'm responsible of you, and you are responsible of me as well. That's why when you go to Iraq, usually they drive very well, because there is no insurances there. The tribe take care. So it's a big mess, a big trouble, because they can blame him as well. So they try their best. Things are changing now, but they try their best to drive as best as possible. So that's why, of course, when I have responsibility, I will benefit as well. The wife helped. Well, some people say, okay, Islam doesn't recognize women. Well, it does. The wife helped her husband, okay? So she has the right to inherit him. The husband helped his wife, so he has the right to inherit her. Well, he doesn't like, it's not in his hand. I'm going to ban him from my money and wealth. You can't. You would only have the right to deal with 1/3 of your wealth if you write a will or make a will, not more than that. So if I say I'm not going to give my son any wealth if I pass away, no one will recognize that. But if I say, okay, I will give 1/3 of my wealth after I pass away to my other son or to one of my daughter, I can. But it's not recommended. I can. But what about the 2/3? He will inherit of that 2/3. So Islam is a very fair system when it comes to inheritance laws, and very accurate and very fair, I can say. So if somebody passes away, and let's see whether Islam recognizes women or not, brotherhood and sisterhood or not. If somebody passes away and he has brothers from his father's side and brothers from his mother's side, who will inherit him? The brothers of his mother's side, not the brothers of his father's side. So Islam recognizes here the relationship that occurred between him and his brother via his mother. So let's say a mom who had kids married a man, okay, who had kids as well. And then they got kids as well, or a kid. And then that kid, the joint kid, passes away. And the parent passed away before he passed away. Because we have something else called tabaqat, I'm going to explain that. Then the brothers from his mother's side would get the chance to inherit. Not everyone.
Is that if the father does?
The father and the mother, everyone. So he doesn't have anyone to inherit him but his brothers from his mother's side and his brothers from his father's side. The brothers from his mother's side will inherit.
And what about the other ones?
They will take a good luck for their future, inshallah.
So they won't get anything?
Apparently, yes.
Wow.
So somehow, yes, the bond is stronger there. And I have somebody who relate to us via marriage. He has brothers from both sides, and he says, really, I feel that I love my sister from my mother's side more than my sister from my father's side. Yeah. So Islam recognizes. So let's explain roughly what happens. So Islam has levels, layers. If the first layers are there, the second layer won't be able to what? To inherit. If the second layer is there, the third layer won't be able to inherit. Who is the first layer? Sons, fathers, okay, ancestors. Of course, if the father is alive, the grandfather usually won't be able to inherit, but sometimes he might be. It's a long story. Sons, daughters, husbands and wives, and not brothers. Not brothers. While in Sunni Sharia, sometimes they give the brother but not the sister, and etc. Here is different. So if somebody passes away, he has a son, and parent, and a wife. So the wife will inherit 1/8 of his wealth. Why? Because he has son. So we're not 1/4, 1/8. The father will inherit, the mother will inherit 1/6 of his wealth. And the father will inherit 1/3 of his wealth. And the son will inherit the rest. Okay? So it works like that. What about the grandfather? No. What about the grandson? No. What are the brothers? Nothing. Nothing. Okay? So then we go to the second layer. If that person, or sometimes, they might be able to inherit. So with the wife would not be able to ban brothers, apparently. So she will inherit what? 1/4, if he doesn't have any son or kids, any kids. And then the brothers will go. And the brothers from mother and father side would get more. So it's complicated. What I'm trying to say that when we see and study the whole system, we see it's very fair system. Very fair system. It's a very nice system as well, the inheritance system. And now we have to say something about Imam Ali alayhi salam. Why Abbasid don't have the right to get the successorship of the Prophet, even if we put that in the equation of inheritance? Because Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was the son of a slave which was owned by Abu Talib and Hamza. Okay? Therefore, according to inheritance law, Imam Ali is considered closer to the Prophet than Abbas. That's important. So there is no room for Abbasid at all. That's why the competition, this wasn't competition. Abbasid were trying to say, yes, we inherited, we are the heir of the Prophet, we inherited the successorship of the Prophet because we are close to the Prophet. And that's why Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam said in front of Harun al-Abbasi that when Harun entered the courtyard of the Prophet, said, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, Assalamu alayka ya ibn al-Am. Peace be upon you, O my cousin. Imam al-Kadhim entered the shrine of the Prophet and said, Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, Assalamu alayka ya Jaddah. And Harun wanted to tell everyone that, yes, we deserve this position. And he got so angry and looked at Imam al-Kadhim and told him, okay, how you said that? Imam said, well, yeah, we are the sons of the Prophet. He said, how? You are from his daughter's side. Imam said, okay. Imam said, if the Prophet was here and if he asks for your daughter, would you marry him, your daughter? He said, yes, it's my honor to marry him, my daughter. Then Imam said, well, if the Prophet was he wouldn't ask to marry my daughter. And if he asks, I won't marry him, my daughter, because my daughter is his daughter. And that's why Harun al-Abbasi put Imam in jail. Because Imam, with a few sentences, demolished the whole system that Abbasid built. Because they built everything on the relationship that they had with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now we can understand it's not about he's the son or uncle or uncles. Not always uncles are closer to the person compared to his cousins. Sometimes cousins are closer. Yeah. Then one of the nice thing we have in inheritance laws that for the sisters from his mother's side, وإن امرأة هلك يورث كلالة. So if somebody dies while he has a sister, فلها نصف ما ترك. She will have half of what he left. And if that person has what? Wife and parents, the parents will get, and this lady will have, the sister will have half of what he left. And if he passed away and he had brothers and sisters from his mother's side, they will get same shares, not للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. So if he leaves, let's say, $10,000, and he has one sister and three brothers, or one brother and three sisters, each one of them will get 2,500. While if the person dies and he has brothers from his father's side, okay, they will get للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. The male will get double. So really you can see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't know why, to be honest. We might try to understand, but we don't know the wisdom behind that. But this is it. This is Islam, and we accept that. So it is very, I can say, sophisticated system, very ideal system, when you cannot what? Ban somebody from the earth. You cannot. But what you can do is write a will and just give the will, 1/3 of your wealth to one of the person that you have. Your kids, whatever, your friend, your cat, I don't know, whatever. But you cannot deal with the whole wealth after you pass away. It's not your wealth anymore. And they have to divide the wealth. They cannot just keep it like that. They have to divide it. Or they have to come to an agreement. Okay, we have that house. Yes, it's owned by all of us, which is not that recommended. We're going to go pray there, we'll make it Husayniya. It's up to them if they want to do something. But they have to come to an agreement. Even if a single person doesn't accept that, the rest won't be able to pray at that place. They have to please that person. It's going to be ghasbi, isn't it? And what about ضمان الجريرة? So this is the gist of inheritance law. What about ضمان الجريرة? ضمان الجريرة means that, okay, I come and tell you, I will compensate if you make any mistake, okay? Let's say if you drive a car without insurance, if you make an accident, I will compensate for that. Or if you kill somebody by an accident, I will compensate. And you have to compensate me under one condition, that I inherit you and you inherit me if you don't have what? Anybody to inherit you. Is that possible in these days? Yes. If somebody is Muslim and his entire family are not Muslim, they won't be able to inherit him. Al-kafiru la yarithu al-muslim. Non-believer cannot have the right to inherit a believer, while a believer can inherit a non-believer. So that's possible. And if he doesn't have anything like that, ضمان الجريرة, so-called, then al-imam warithu man la waritha lah. Then imam will inherit him. How come? Is that justice? Yes, it is. Because if he does any mistake, commit any, let's say, if he kills by mistake, manslaughter, somebody and he doesn't have the family, the tribe, and he doesn't have the wealth to pay and compensate, then it's the obligation of Imam to pay in behalf of him. And that's why he gets Al-Imam warithu man la waritha lah. And if somebody has a slave and he releases the slave, and that slave for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that slave didn't have any relative to inherit him, or all of his relatives were, kafir and etc., then the one who released him will have the chance to inherit him. So it's very, very, just imagine and think that these laws were legislated 14 centuries ago. And they are that accurate and that strong. And sometimes we can understand the wisdom behind them. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes we can. There's something, it's strong. We can understand the strength of this law. Correct? Brother Ali? Ali تمام؟ Mahdi? Yeah? Any questions? I was reading a few hours today just to give you this. Yeah, because I just want to, I only want to talk only a single session, one-off session about the inheritance law. And we discussed, if you can remember, in Shia culture studies, what do you call it? What was the name of it? The difference between us as Shia and Sunni. Al-awl wa ta'asib. When they give the shares, sometimes, so okay, let's say 1/8 for the mom, 1/4 for the husband, 1/2 for the sister from his mother's side. So sometimes we see, okay, we need more shares. Let's say it's 10 shares, we need 12 shares. What should we do? Sunni say, okay, we will take of this person and that person, all of them, reduce the amount. Ahl Bayt say, no, there is another law, another equation here. Whoever receives more, sometimes he has to compensate. So we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to repeat that. It's a complicated situation. But what I like about it, sometimes brothers, while they don't get anything, but they can change the percentage of the mom while they don't get anything. In Farsi, we call them kharmagaz ma'arakah. Whenever there is a fight and somebody just enters the fight, well, he doesn't have any benefit in that fight. Yeah, he doesn't have any benefit, okay? He just enters the fight, okay? Yeah, we call that kharmagaz. You know what does kharmagaz mean? The big bug? That's called kharmagaz. So literally donkey bug. Okay. I call these brothers kharmagaz ma'araka when they can ban without gain.
What happens if someone has half of their family Shia and half of their family Sunni?
They can inherit each other's.
They can inherit?
Yeah. Muslim inherit. But the problem is, sometimes we might face conflict of interest. Yes, because they give this to the brother, okay, while we give them to the son and etc. And Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, on such situation, they say, because they do that, so if they wrongly, we don't believe in that, okay? We don't believe that a brother can inherit his brother while that person has, let's say, I don't know, a cousin or whatever, a wife. Although we don't do that, but this person can have the share. Why? Because sometimes they take it from us as well. So Ahlul Bayt look at the entire Shia community. Sometimes the entire Shia community has the right gone. That's why the entire Shia community can get some of the right back with that law. So,
What if someone dies and he's got wealth, and then this wealth, through like inheritance, was distributed in a wrong way.
صلى اللهم على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.